Hi there. So, we are going to now talk about our assignment that's due this Sunday, budget observation and reflection. You have 3 days to finish it, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, you'll open up this assignment. Here are the directions. So, it's designed to help you, one, better understand the cost of college, and two, appreciate the importance of financial awareness and budgeting. For this assignment, you are going to analyze a sample budget and the spending habits of a WU student. And you're going to make recommendations to bring their expenses and income into greater balance. This means that the difference between their income, what they earn, and their expenses, what they spend, is closer to zero, meaning they make enough money to spend and they're not spending more than they make. And to give you some perspective or as a guide, you'll use our cost of attendance and a sample student bill, but your own life experience as a student and common sense is going to come into handy too. You're going to write about the values you observe in the student's spending choices. Based on their spending, what assumptions might you make about what they value the most? And then you'll also reflect on your own spending. So the tools that you'll need to complete this assignment are the sample student budget, which is right here. We'll be going over that in just a minute. And if you like, the cost of attendance worksheet, which we've actually looked at before in week 4 when we were talking about the cost of higher education. So this shows what's called cost of attendance, and then down here is an actual sample student bill. All right, so you have both the cost of attendance and sample student bill and the sample budget of a would-be WU freshman, okay? So the scenario is that it's the end of fall term 2020, you're a sophomore now, and you're also a peer mentor in a leadership program designed to support freshmen adjust to college life. A freshman comes to you and says they're having issues with their spending habits and would like your advice on their budget. Okay, so that's the backdrop to the assignment. The instructions say, watch this video and then review the sample budget and the sample assignment below. As we look at the budget, we're going to see that it's out of balance, meaning that the student is spending more than they earn and they're going into unplanned debt. So let's go through this budget. So this is the freshman who comes to you for advice. Let's go area by area. So this green headed section is income. So this student has a part-time job. They make $300 a month. Looks like they've worked really hard to get grants and scholarships. Oh, what's important to note is this is a monthly budget. Okay, so the way that we get to the monthly amount is you take the total term earnings and expenses and divide it by 3. So every term, this student gets about $6,500 in scholarships and grants. To get to the monthly amount, we divide the term amount by 3 months, or 3. So 6,500 divided by 3, roughly $2,157 or so. So every month, this student has approximately $2,157 in scholarships and grants. At this time, it doesn't look like they're taking out any loans. This money here represents the amount of money they're getting from parental support. Okay, we'll come back to this later. Looks like the student has some money set aside that they take out every month, maybe from a savings account. Okay, now we're going to move to the expenses. So that was the money coming in. Now this is the money going out, how much money they spend on things. So their tuition, again, this is a monthly amount. So if we wanted to figure out how much per term, they're roughly spending about $2,463. So we take that amount, divide it by 3 to get to the monthly amount. So about $821 on tuition each month, about $372 on fees. And again, we take the total term fees, divide them by 3 months to get to the monthly amount, books, etc. So every month, school is costing them, just for tuition fees and books, $1,268. Now here we are at housing. So they live in the dorms. So again, to figure out the term room and board fee, we would multiply this by 3. But every month it's a little over $1,000. They have some other expenses too. So a cell phone bill, meal plan, this is the term amount divided by 3, $187 a month. I think that meal plan is a little over $500. Then we have groceries, $100 a month, which is about $25 a week, and going out to eat about $25 a week. So they are spending just shy of $400 a month for one person on food. And it looks like they have a car. So they're spending money on gas, $120 on gas, parking permit. Looks like they spend $50 a month on personal items. They rent some movies, maybe go to the movie, hobby, soccer. Okay, so they've got a hobby. Looks like they like to spend money on clothes a little bit here and there. Maybe they get some cleaning supplies for their dorm room and other household supplies. And then $120 a month on auto insurance and $150 on medical insurance. Now, I wanted to point something out here. You wouldn't necessarily have known this, but because I designed the budget, I'll tell you. So the student has a few expenses that their parents pay for. So here you'll see health insurance, and then they've got their cell phone bill up here, $45. So health insurance plus cell phone bill, $195. Their parents pay for that, which is not uncommon. I know a lot of students whose parents specifically pay for those items. They're on a family cell phone plan, and their parents pay for their health insurance. So if that is something that is true for you too, it would be most accurate to count that as other income, right? So this student's parents spend about $200 a month on the student's medical insurance and cell phone bill. So the parental support kind of goes under 2 categories. One, the student is counting it as an expense because it's something that costs money, but then they also get it in the form of support. All right, so back to expenses. So we went over all the insurances, and then it looks like the student may have a car payment, and it also looks like they have a credit card payment. So $25 a month towards their credit card and $80 a month towards a gas card. So it looks like they have 2 credit cards. So we went through income and expenses, right? Their monthly income is about $2,750, but their expenses exceed that, right? You can see that their school cost of attendance is a little over $1,200. Then they've got rent, aka living in the dorms, cell phone, food, transportation. You can see how all this information rolls up, and their total expenses are $3,619, which is more than their income. So you'll see here in red, a negative $867. That means they're overspending by almost $900. So that money is coming from somewhere. So they're charging it on their credit card. Maybe a student bill is going unpaid and they have a balance on their student bill. So if this student comes to you and says, I don't know what is going on, I'm spending too much. Well, you can see why. Their expenses are more than their income. So now it's your job to go through and make some recommendations. Do they need to work more hours? Do they need to cut out spending? Is owning a car too costly right now while they're in college? Do they go out to eat too much? What are some things that you observe? You're going to be giving 3 recommendations and explaining those recommendations. Okay, so that's the first part. Now, the second part, I want you to think about our lecture on values. What values do you see reflected in the student's budget and spending? And then lastly, you're going to provide a written reflection on your own budget spending and values. So answer the following. Are there any parts of the student budget example that you recognize in your own choices? If so, what is similar? What changes might you make to improve your finances? And if you don't relate to the budget example, what do you think are some actions you can take financially next school year to achieve your financial goals? So here's our rubric. Each recommendation is worth 10 points. The values section is 10 points. And your own written reflection is 10 points. Okay, note 5 sentences or more for each of these areas. So each recommendation, 5 sentences, value section, 5 sentences, and your reflection response, 750 characters, please. So here is an example. Take some time to read through my example. It'll be about a page, maybe a page and a quarter altogether. I have this in 12-point font, so if you were to bring it down to 11, you might be able to fit it onto a page, but you don't have to. Just make sure you're meeting the the sentence count and the character count. Okay, so that's the assignment. Email me Friday or Saturday if any questions come up. But hopefully between the instructions and the example, it feels pretty straightforward. But again, email me if anything comes up. All right. Good luck.